Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles Designer Series Darwyn Cooke, figure number 5, Green Lantern. This is Spot's continued look at the designer series for Darwyn Cooke, and now we're looking at figure 5, Green Lantern, or more importantly, John Stewart. The side of the box features some outstanding artwork, one of my personal favorites, Darwyn Cooke, Green Lantern, John Stewart down below, DC Collectibles down below that. On the back of the package, the other figures, we've already had a look at Catwoman, and surprisingly, I actually enjoyed that figure quite a bit. Then we have a look at, of course, John Stewart. We still have to look at The Flash and Wonder Woman. The Flash, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Wonder Woman, and Catwoman sculpted by Jonathan Matthews. Finally, if you are looking for a comic book store in your area and can't find one, head over to www.comicshoplocator.com, put in your address, bingo bango, you can find yourself a comic book store in your area. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at the DC Comics Designer Series Darwyn Cooke, figure number 5, Green Lantern. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Hopefully through these reviews that Spot does, you guys can see whether a figure is worth picking up or not. And certainly opinions will vary. One person's personal favorite of figures will not likely be everybody's. I may pick up a figure like this and think to myself, I really actually quite like this figure because it faithfully recreates the source material. Another person may look at the same exact figure and think to themselves, I just don't care for the way the figure looks. Why does he have very closed eyes? Why does he have a little heavier build to him? That is basically in a nutshell how the designer series are portrayed. Some people like the designer series from DC Collectibles, some people don't. It really stems from where do you like the source material? And if you do like the source material that designer is, the way his style is done, the likelihood you're probably going to like the figures. Now, that's not to say that all the figures translate well. We've seen many instances, oh boy, we sure have, where designer series, the source material, poorly is translated into figure treatment. John Stewart, on the other hand, I think is very faithfully recreated here in figure form. The figure itself is quite good. Let's have a look at his face and we'll work our way down. Now, I will tell you one thing I don't like that the figure not necessarily has, but doesn't have, is he doesn't come with any sort of accessories. He doesn't come with a lantern, anything. Not even a display stand comes with this figure. If you can overlook that shortcoming, the figure actually is quite good. The face is a nice sculpt, again, very faithfully recreating his style of artwork in the comics, which I guess really, if you don't like those comics, the likelihood of you picking up this figure is probably slim to none anyways. How would I portray, or how would I describe the way that these characters are portrayed? Well, I guess very full-figured, very blocky in some regards. Very stylistic design, I could certainly say as well. Not everyone's cup of tea, granted, I accept that. But I gotta admit, though, the figure does translate well. I like all the little wrinkles that they've incorporated, and it's a very exact detail, if that makes any sense. Like very jagged lines, very straight and to the point lines. No real additional sculpt or anything like that. Like you can see with the body, the torso is very smooth, very undefined, very, very angular, I think is the best way to describe these characters. Very, very angular, especially in the face. The face reads very blocky, very angular in design. Again, if I could find one nitpick, the one nitpick is that he just doesn't come with any sort of accessories. That would be the only thing I could really pinpoint as a shortcoming for this figure. Some of the other designer series are also notorious for this, as there's no split legs. You do have leg articulation, at least from the thigh portion end of it, where it can go back and forth. Some would say a very basic fallback to articulation that you would expect to find from figures back in the 90s. Again, the designer series don't always have super articulation. That's not really what they're designed for. What they're designed for is capturing the essence of what that artist drew. And I think for Jon Stewart, very, very much so. I think he's been captured well here in plastic figure. Two-dimensional to three-dimensional doesn't always translate well. Jon Stewart, I have to say, did translate very well. Posability on Jon Stewart, his head does give a full rotation via the ball joint that's attaching the head to the neck area. The shoulders hinge out, which is one good thing about the figures nowadays. Even though they're primary in the lower leg portion of it, at least the upper portion of the torso, you still have that range of motion there. The arms rotate all the way around. Equally so, he has a bend in the elbow, which is just really stiff. Really, really stiff. There's a rotation in the wrists, or more so in the glove portion of his arms. And as we've already discussed, forward and back motion on the legs, a swivel on the thigh, a single hinge knee, and a swivel in the foot. He doesn't even really have ankle articulation, but again, that really doesn't bother me because looking at what it's based from, I can feel that a figure like this, almost incorporating too much posability, would kill the overall what it's trying to convey. And I think actually what it's trying to convey is a pretty good rendition of Green Lantern Jon Stewart here. Let me know down below what you guys think of this figure. Like, overall, do you think a style of this figure is translated well? Like, do you like the design of this? Or do you just think it's just okay? Let me know down below what you guys think. By the way, if you guys are interested in picking this guy up for yourself, you can head over to your local comic book store. Where do you find a comic book store? ComicShopLocator.com. It's as easy as that. I've used it. I want to give testimonials, but I've used it myself, and I've found comic book stores in my area. And that's the comic book store I go to now all the time. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the designer series. This was the Darwyn Cooke. Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's got more videos heading your way. He really does. More videos certainly heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.